Good morning and namaste. It's Wednesday, February 12, 2026. A fresh morning, a fresh trading day. You are listening to Opening Bell Radio, the first note to the market, where we don't just watch the markets, we understand them. I am your host and I am glad you are here with me. Let's begin with the movement of calm. Breathe in and out. The markets will move, numbers will change, but our approach remains steady. Ready? Let's begin. Yesterday, the Indian equity market closed with modest gains. The Nifty 50 ended at 25,935.15, up by 67.85 points or 0.26%. Not a surge but a steady climb. The Sensex closed at 84,273.92 points, rising by 208 points or 0.25%. Midcaps outperformed the Nifty Midcap 100 gained 0.49%, closing above 60,735. Small caps also edged higher with the Nifty Small Cap to 250 up 0.50%. Sectorally, autos were the star. The Nifty Auto Index surged 1.37%. Metals gained 0.81%. IT rose 0.30%. On the softer side, the pharma dipped 0.36% and PSU banks eased 0.19%. So the volatility cooled. The India VIX fell 4.27% to 11.67. That suggests a calmer market mood as we open today. Let's step out and look at the world or through a global market check-in. Global markets painted a mixed picture yesterday. In the United States, the Dow Jones continued its record run, closing above 50,383, up by 0.49%. The S&P 500 edged up to 0.08%, while the Nasdaq 100 dipped slightly down 0.09%. Futures this morning are pointing to a steady open. In Europe, markets were soft. The FTSE 100 fell 0.31%, the DAX was flat, and the Euro Stoxx 50 dipped 0.18%. A quiet session there. In Asia this morning, Japan's Nikkei futures are up over 1%. The Hang Seng gained 0.58% yesterday. Australia's ASX 200 was nearly unchanged. A notable move here is that Bitcoin is stabilizing near $70,000 after recent dips. The big question floating around is what are the ripple effects if Bitcoin keeps dropping? We'll keep an eye on that, but for now, calm down. Now we see on the technical perspective of Nifty 50. Now let's look at the charts. I'll walk you through the key levels for the Nifty. Pivot levels for today using the classic method, pivot point 25,856.82. Resistance 1 25,932, resistance 2 25,998.17. Now let's talk about support. Support 1 is 25,791.38 and support 2 is 25,715.47. The Nifty closed above the pivot, which is a positive start. Watch R1 and R2 for upward breaks and S1 for initial support. If we talk about moving average, the index is trading above its 20, 50 and 100-day simple moving average. The 200 SMA sits at 25,261, so the long-term trend remains up. So we can say for the long term, a positive sentiment is still intact. So if we are talking about technical indicators, RSI 14 is at 56.2 neutral, not overbought. MACD is in bullish territory. Average true range is around 329, suggesting moderate daily moves. The ADX is at 22.8, indicating a weak trend, so we are in consolidation, not a strong directional phase. What does this mean? The market is taking a breath. No strong momentum either way. Patience is the key. Now let's we talk about corporate actions and insider moves. Let's talk about what companies are doing, the corporate actions and insider activity that give us clues about confidence. Dividends are flowing. NMDC has an interim dividend of 250 per share ex date tomorrow, February 13. Hero Motocorp is giving 5500 per share ex date yesterday. JB Chemicals giving 1270 per share. Page Industries giving 1250 per share. A lot of shareholders are being rewarded. If you hold these, check your dates. Insider trades from yesterday show interesting moves. Greenply Industries promoter group bought shares worth 1.4 crores. MTAR Technologies, a promoter sold share worth 4.93 crores. Zydus Wellness, a designated person bought shares worth 3.9 lakhs. Now, if we are talking about Embassy Office REIT, designated person sold over 52 lakh worth of instruments. Insiders are active, some buying, some selling. It's not a uniform signal, but it's worth noting. Bulk deals also showed activity in stocks like Encompass Design, CKK Retail, and Nirman Agri. Institutional interest is there but selective. Let's talk sectors. Yesterday's leaders. Financial services as a theme was up 3.81%, clearly in momentum. Refractories rose 3.80%. On the weaker side, education fell 3.90%, apparel down 2.37% in negative territory. If we talk about thematic ETFs, we are seeing thematic ETFs are in interest. Gold ETFs like Tata Gold ETF were active, silver ETFs also in focus, though silver prices have been volatile lately. Broader market health. If we talk about broader market health, advanced decline ratios were nearly even on the Nifty 29 advances, 20 declines, 1 changed. That tells us it wasn't a broad rally, it was selective mid cap and small cap indices did better, which is a good sign for market breadth. Now we are going to the some important news. Here's what the financial news wires are carrying this morning. US jobs data delay is causing some FX caution. Euro USD is steady at near $1.19. Nasdaq clocked at 1% gain yesterday as tech rebounded. Bitcoin stabilization is being watched closely after the recent dip. Bulls are stepping in. Silver has plunged 18% recently, raising questions: is it becoming a meme trade? Dow Jones futures are looking up after the index topped 50,000 for the first time. Also in earnings, Reddit popped 5% on strong earnings. Amazon tanked 12% on spending plans. Plenty rallied after revenue spiked 70%. So earnings are driving individual stocks even if indices are calm. So be wary of your analysis and do invest or trade based on your decisions and on your analysis. As we move into Wednesday session, here are the things I am watching. Or I can say we have to watch. First, Nifty's range between 25,791 and 25,998. A break could set the tone. Second, auto and metal stocks. Can they extend gains? Third, financial services. The sector trend is strong. Fourth, global cues, especially US futures and Bitcoin. Fifth, corporate results. 22 companies reporting today. Sixth, last but not the least, yesterday's bulk deals hint at institutional interest. Also, keep an eye on rights issues and buybacks. Sterling's India, AVI Polymers, and Suryo Foods have rights issues active. One buyback and several bonuses and splits in the pipeline. Remember, friends, the market is a river. Some days it flows fast, some days slow. Our job is not to push the river, but to flow with it. We have covered a lot this morning: indices, globals, technicals, corporate news. But here's the essence. The market is in a quiet phase. Not trending strongly, not breaking down. That's okay. It's in these periods that positions are built, watch lists are refined, and patience is cultivated. If you are trading today, trade light. If you are investing, look for quality. If you are learning, today is a good day to observe. Thank you for spending your morning with me. This has been Opening Bell Radio, the first note to the market. I'll be back tomorrow with more clarity, more calm. Until then, take a deep breath, stay steady, and remember, always invest for the long term and make earnings. Disclaimer: investment in securities market are subject to market risks. Please read all related documents carefully before investing.